Alright, so welcome to a little bit of a different Little Nightmares video. Whenever I played Little Nightmares 3, a lot of you guys told me, and I've seen a lot of discussion, that that game was connected to a podcast or something. The podcast gave it a lot more of an understanding or something like that. So I finally have checked it out. I know it's been a little while since Little Nightmares 3 came out. Cut me some slack. I had some stuff going on and I just got around to it, but I want to discuss the podcast and talk about my thoughts about it and what I thought, and actually talk about how it connects to Little Nightmares 3 and if I think it makes Little Nightmares 3 better or worse even. Like and subscribe if you are new here. I make a bunch of Little Nightmares content. I'm going to be making it for a little while now. I've got a couple video ideas and I really want to go off of the dome, basically not have a script for this video, because I really don't like when I have scripts for videos or write scripts, because it just sounds like I'm reading off of a piece of paper, which it is. So this way, to me, it comes off more genuine. Hope you guys can understand that. But yeah, let's get right into it. Also, this is going to be my understanding of the podcast. So it's going to be like my interpretation, what I got from it. I may have not understood everything. So let me know in the comments if I missed something or I say something wrong or anything like that, if you could help me out. But I feel like I could see this as its own game. Like, I don't know why, but I feel like this would work better as a game than Little Nightmares 3, to be honest, because I feel like you have the blueprint laid out. I feel like you have everything laid out for you. You have the levels. Every level or every chapter would be at its own level and stuff like that, and you kind of just have the image in your head from the podcast and everything like that. So I really feel like that could work out as its own game. But so the podcast is about Noon and basically her dreams and how she visits the nowhere in her dreams and teleports, and basically the whole 6 episodes is her retelling stories of her visiting her places in her dreams or places in the nowhere, and what they're filled with, what monsters they're filled with, what different characters they're filled with. The way they describe some of these locations is very, very interesting in my opinion. I like how they did it. They set it up. I especially like the ferryman. The ferryman is probably my favorite part. He just sounds very creepy, ominous, and very mysterious, and I really like his character the most. That's probably my favorite part about it, is the ferryman or the candleman, and I really like his role in it. And he doesn't do too much, but I think he's the best part for sure. I even like Otto and how they explain how he's trying to be nice, but he's very manipulative, and he's basically just trying to do it for a selfish reason, which is just basically he's trying to find his sister. They got lost in the nowhere, and he's using Noon to try to basically take over her dreams or find a way to get into the nowhere so he can find his sister, Cece. I like his character, and I like how they kind of did him as like a twisted, like manipulative villain. I think they did him very well. I also like Noon a lot as a main protagonist. I think she's pretty interesting. Yeah, overall the podcast I think is pretty good compared to Little Nightmares 3. It is way more interesting. Overall, yes, it is pretty good, and I would encourage you guys to listen, even though it's 2 years old. All of you would probably listen if you like Little Nightmares. For me though, I didn't see too many like Little Nightmares 1 or 2 connections too much. I did think that the lady was in the first episode where they were talking about, but apparently that's not the lady. They described some woman that has a messed up face, basically kind of like the lady, but it's not the lady. They mentioned the yellow raincoat in one of the episodes. I don't know how that got there or that ended up there. I don't know if that's like, I have no idea, but I know that that's obviously they're referencing 6 and Little Nightmares 1 in general. But yeah, moving on, I'm gonna basically explain how it connects to Little Nightmares 3, and then I'm gonna tell you guys if I think that this makes Little Nightmares 3 overall better. So first of all, obviously Otto, he is the guy at the end of the 3rd game, the very last boss. He is the very last boss of the game. He's the therapist, the hypnotist. So I'm guessing from what I heard, he got obsessed with being in the nowhere, so that's why he's in the nowhere, or the final boss of the 3rd game is because he finally got into there, because the ferryman tells him, I will take you in here as an adult if you keep basically you keep fucking around, I will take you in here as an adult. So I guess that's what happened by the end of the 3rd game, and that's basically kind of the lore on that. It also, I guess, explains how Lo keeps waking up in basically where he's at. I guess he's under Otto's control, and Otto is basically doing to him or whatever he does to Noon. He's basically in the institute where Noon was and all the kids were and stuff like that, and I guess that's the last level of the game where you're going through that. Also, the candy from the candy factory. It is explained what the candy does. Basically puts them to sleep or something, or like calms them or something like that. And I'm guessing that's why Lo also keeps waking up in the game. And basically that makes a little bit more sense now, and it explains the candy factory in general. That's nice. It gives a little context to that. And also the kin just basically is in one of the episodes. Basically Noon in episode 4, I think it is, her dream for that episode, or the place she visits, is the carnival, and the kin shows up. They describe the kin, so maybe that's why the kin was in the carnival were the best part of the game, because they had that one thought up for 2 years, or they already had that one laid out for them. But episode 4 was written by Supermassive, so I don't know if they had the idea 2 years ago. They had some good ideas 2 years ago, and then Little Nightmares 3, I don't know. I really don't know. The kin makes an appearance. They describe him, his obsession with making the kids do tricks and putting on a show and yada yada yada. I do feel like if they do keep going off of this podcast, which they've already kind of done a lot in this game, I've already seen some speculation about this as well, but they might have the ferryman in the DLC, which that's fine with me, because I honestly think the ferryman is cool as hell. They really could just have him in the DLC for Little Nightmares 3, and I guess yeah. Now, do I think that this makes Little Nightmares 3 better? Or as you guys know from watching my channel and basically a reaction from a lot of people, Little Nightmares 3 was very disappointing to a lot of people, and I don't blame them, because I thought it was pretty disappointing. As a fan of both of the games, I played Little Nightmares 3 and thought it was severely lackluster, but with this podcast, I feel like honestly it gives me a better understanding of some of the characters and some of the things that happen in the game and things like that. But overall, I would say that it does not make the game that much better, if any better at all, to be honest. I mean, maybe slightly, but not really by any stretch or anything like that. It doesn't like bump it up a whole point or like 3 points or 4 points. No, it's just, it doesn't make it that much better. If you've got to do homework to enjoy the game, like, it's just like, nah. Like, I played Little Nightmares 1 and 2, and I didn't read anything outside of that. I didn't play very Little Nightmares for a better understanding of how 6 got the raincoat or nothing like that. I didn't do any of that, and I still enjoyed both of those games. And then I feel like this is an after thing. Like, okay, the game was so interesting and cool, and you thought it was, you know, the story and lore were interesting, so you go and look up and do the extra research to find out extra lore about these characters and stuff. That's what I did for Little Nightmares 1 and 2. By themselves, they were just interesting and cool, and I understood the story enough. Little Nightmares 3, I understood what was going on, but I just didn't care, and I didn't want to go and look up anything after I beat the game. I was just kind of like done with the game. Whereas Little Nightmares 2, I played that and I was like, damn, I want to watch, you know, lore videos, I want to watch theory videos, I want to watch this, I want to watch that. No, this game, I was like, I do not care about that at all. Honestly, I could see the Sounds of Nightmares as its own game. I would actually like to see that, because I think the locations they talk about are interesting, and I think Noon as a character, and even the predicaments that they go into, I think would be interesting. Yeah, unfortunately, Little Nightmares 3 is just, it was just disappointing. And a lot of y'all were telling me to check out this podcast, which I appreciate all of y'all. Again, I don't know if some people thought that like it was going to completely change my mind, or it's completely going to like change my perspective on the game. I don't think it did that, but I do think that it adds a little bit more context to what's going on. Again, it doesn't make the game just completely like almost a 180 where I turn around on it and go, oh yeah, this is actually pretty good if you understand this and that and this and that and this. No, I don't want to do homework for a video game. Let's just be able to play and enjoy it without the extra lore bits and extra like, you know, understanding and content. I should get those if I want to, you know, go after that and understand that, because I like the game so much. But yeah, I hope that makes sense. I appreciate you guys. I finally checked that out. I'm gonna read the comics next. I appreciate you guys for watching. I appreciate you guys for tuning in, any support that you show on the videos, and thank you guys. And yeah, we'll see you guys next video. Peace.